Today, I will be going over just a kind of a simple introduction into downloading and installing the BlueSky prototype that we just released this week. To start off, easiest place to start would be to go to our BlueSky website. It's at eia.gov/total energy/data/BlueSky. You'll see information about our release here this week. You can see the working paper if you want to reach out to us, kind of bug fixes or any suggestions or feedback. Our email is here. If you want to be added to our updates, email updates distribution list, you can check the link here. But I will direct your kind of attention to the repository link here. This is where it'll take you to our GitHub repository for our prototype code. And the main README of this repo has, I think, some really good instructions on, the installation and setup and kind of doing the first run. As far as the setup, here are the kind of prerequisites. We recommend, Python version 3.12, Git if you have it, or to install it. Any sort of IDE. For this, I will kind of just go through using more command line, but also maybe demonstrate the Visual Studio Code, which is my preference, and then Anaconda prompt as well, or Anaconda or Anaconda 3. So the first step is to clone the BlueSky repository and then to set up. So I'll go with you, and each of these little drop downs, has the steps. I won't go through those. I'll just kind of like walk through step by step of what to do. So first thing, our link for the repository code is here. We can copy that. I'm going to go ahead and first, I'm going to open up my file explorer. I want to copy the repository into my gh-repos. So I already have Git installed on my computer. So I'm going to go ahead and, right click and I go to open Git bash here. I could also go just git bash, search, your home, and I could paste in, navigate to the directory. So CD to, and then I insert the directory, CD, missing my quotation marks. Very important for difference there. So I'll go ahead and so I navigated into where I want to clone the repository. And so it's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to do git clone and then paste URL link for the repository. This one does not need quotes. And so it's going to go ahead and clone BlueSky, the BlueSky repository, into that directory that I selected. This may take a few minutes depending on your upload download speeds. Okay, and so that's done. So I can go ahead and navigate to my file explorer, and there we have the BlueSky repo cloned to our local directory. So from here I could open up Visual Studio Code and open up this repository and start working with the code. So once we've cloned, I'll go back to our guide here. So we've cloned the repository. That's step one. And next is setting up the virtual environment. So we already kind of went through cloning the repository. So now we're going to just use the Anaconda prompt and kind of go through these steps here. So first, a couple ways to get there. The easiest way is just to go to your start, type Anaconda prompt, hit enter, assuming you've installed the Anaconda. And now we're going to go ahead to our file explorer. We're going to get the directory location. I'm just going to copy it. I don't feel like typing it all out in front of you guys. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste, change my directory. You'll see here that this is the base. We're going to be creating a new environment, a BlueSky environment to run this project. And we've already set up, files within this repository to kind of aid in this process. So that's the first step, navigating to your working directory. done that. And next we want to run the environment setup. So we'll go ahead and actually just copy this, go back in here and paste. And this will initiate the bat file that will collect all of the necessary packages and install the BlueSky environments on your local computer. So while that's loading, I can go ahead and just show you the environment folder. We can see what it's kind of doing in the background. This is our YAML file. The name of our new environment is here, and these are the specific dependencies and versions of the packages that we are installing that are required. And what we just ran was basically, this file that says in the current directory that we're in, use, that file to use the YAML file to create a new environment called BlueSky or BlueSky, BlueSky, activate it, and then install our HiSpy solver. So click back on this, see where we're at. This may take a little bit of time. It just depends on, the upload download speeds. So now, as you can see, originally we were in the base environment, if we go back up here, and now successfully installed all the packages and activated our BlueSky. We can actually toggle between, different Conda environments. Let's say we want to activate Conda activate base. If we want to go back to our base, and let's say we want to toggle back to our BlueSky environments that we just created. And there we go. And then from here, we could, in the BlueSky repository, in the working directory for the BlueSky repo that we have installed, and where we have the environment installed. So from here, we could, launch, Python program. But this kind of brings us to our next step. So, we go down to, we just went through setting up our environment, and now we're into the usage section. And one of the easiest ways to run and to use the model code and kind of interact with the different configuration settings is through using a Dash app that we created. And so the first steps to kind of getting there is, opening Anaconda prompt. We've already done that. Going to our BlueSky directory. And so let's just simulate as if we're starting over here. So let's open up a new Anaconda prompt. And let's see, I want to navigate to, I called this gh-repos. And let's see, it was BlueSky. So now I'm in my BlueSky folder. We navigated to our working directory for our BlueSky prototype. And then we just copy and paste to launch the prototype app, this run-app bat file. So let's go ahead and do that, paste that in there. And then that will kick off the Dash app. And here we have it. This is a pretty simple GUI of our model runner. There's the different modes to run. In the background, anytime you refresh this page, it's going to pull in the configuration template settings. So it's kind of going to the default settings. If we want to change the default settings, however, we can go ahead and kind of edit these, different switches for the configurations of, what specific things about the model we want to change. For example, in standalone mode, it runs the electricity model, hydrogen, and residential independent, and kind of one after the other. Say, for example, we only wanted to run one. We could turn, these two off, for example, and we would go down and hit our save changes, see that the run config file was changed, and then we would run our standalone and just kind of hit run. And this will kick off the standalone model run. So because we turned the hydrogen and residential modules off, it's just going to run the electricity one independently. And it tells us that it's done. and it's in the output standalone. So we can go back to our kind of file explorer. We go to output, and we can see our run from our most recent run, and it just ran the electricity. And if we wanted to read, the log and see the optimization values. And so we'll kind of get into more of that, but this is kind of the easy version of, the setup and installation and kind of configuration of, the overall model. We'll go ahead and, I'll reset these settings, and I'm going to go ahead and save changes. Another way to run the app would be to, you open up Visual Studio Code, and then we open up a new folder. We're going to open up our BlueSky. Go to Repos, BlueSky, select folder, and we'll see all of our files on the left. And there's one that says app.py. This is the Dash app that we just ran, and we can go ahead and run this. We want to make sure that we are running on our specific version of our BlueSky environment. So we're going to click on, so that was down in the bottom right, you'll see kind of your Python version. If you click on that, it brings down this option for which versions of Python that you want to use. So let's go ahead and we want to click on BSKY. And then let's go ahead and try to run this again. And there we go. It gives us the hyperlink. We click on follow link, and there you have it. Same thing pops up. So that's another way. If you didn't want to launch the Dash app through Anaconda each time and go through the run Dash app commands, this would be another way to launch this. So thanks for tuning in. Next video we'll do is we'll kind of go over the code documentation and some of the documentation elements.